Welcome to this episode of Catch Up with ChiroTouch. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm your host, Dr. Ronnie Simms, and I'm so glad you're here. You'll never regret your time with us today. I'm super excited about this episode, and I just want you to know, inspiring and advancing the chiropractic profession is what this whole series is about. This is ChiroTouch's way to support you as a chiropractor, to help you grow in every area of your life. And our response has been so great with the early episodes. So we're going to keep them coming. We're going to keep great guests coming on. And today we have two of the best. And this is going to be really fun because this is definitely an area that I want to grow in. And so today we're going to talk about how to build a robust marketing plan that dominates the digital space. And we have two of our profession's experts on today that are going to help us unpack that. They're going to inspire you, but it's not just going to be inspiration. There's going to be education, but also there's going to be things you can apply right now. And so I'm super excited to have these two awesome guys on, Dr. Jeff Langmaid and Dr. Jason Deitch, co-leaders in the Smart Chiropractor, which remind me, guys, I want to talk to you guys more about that for me. But anyway, I love what you guys are doing. Everything you guys do, I just gobble up and love. And so how you guys doing, man? How's it going today?
Doing fantastic. We appreciate you taking the time. We're super excited to be on. The podcast is awesome, and we're fortunate to be guests.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Thanks for your kind words, Ron. I totally appreciate it, and thank you all for putting this together. The profession needs more of this, and I'll start off by saying what we're doing right here, right now, is a great example of what chiropractors want to be doing in their communities. People are here to learn. You're here to share because of your authentic desire and value to help others. It's a win-win-win, and it's a model of what exactly we're talking about for chiropractors to do locally in their communities.
I love that. So how'd you guys hook up? How'd you guys meet?
We're both in Bay Areas. He's in Tampa Bay. I'm in San Francisco Bay. Jeff, go ahead. I'll let you tell the story, please.
I'll spare you the detailed explanation and give you the high level overview. You know, Jason, I have known as kind of a leader in the chiropractic profession for many years. And, you know, eventually there became this point where I knew I wanted to start something that really made a big impact in the chiropractic profession. I had an intuition that I wanted to reach out to him. And through a series of events, meetings, and phone calls, we ended up deciding, man, not only do we get along great as friends, but this could be a great opportunity to help a bunch of docs long term. So that's the seeds that started it. The take home message there would be follow your intuition.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you're living high there in the Tampa Bay with all your professional sports teams.
That's an understatement.
A little bit. It always cycles back, though. But anyway, hey, so you guys have both become, from my seat, two of the experts in this digital world that we live in, and you guys both seem to understand that in a way that most chiropractors don't. So how did that come to be? How did you guys gain such a strong understanding of this space?
You know, I have a long, I'll say, history within this space. My background in college was marketing. My dad loves to tell a story how when I was, I think, 5 or 6 years old, my dad was an entrepreneur. I said to him one day, I go, Dad, I think I get this. You know, I don't know what's so hard about business. You just got to give something that everybody needs at a price they can afford. And that's business. You know, what's so difficult about that? So I always knew, for whatever reason, that as I got older, whatever I chose to do, you've got to be really good at communicating what that is so you can attract people to want it. So marketing has always been sort of in my DNA, in my background, and sort of putting things, watching myself grow up and, reviewing what happened, it became obvious to me that the answer was, well, chiropractic care is something everybody needs, and I could certainly give it to them at a price they can afford. It's me and my hands. And it is the, as far as I'm concerned, best kept secret in healthcare. There's far too few people that understand what it is. It's the most ripe opportunity. There's no lack of need of people who need care, whether it's reactively or proactively. It's the greatest opportunity, from a business standpoint, let alone a humanitarian standpoint, any of us can imagine. Fast forward, went to college, got my marketing degree. My dad was like, wow, this is great. You're following your dreams. I then tell him I'm going to become a chiropractor, to which he said, I don't think you realize what people think of chiropractors. To which I said, well, if you knew what I knew about what chiropractic really is, you'd probably want to be one yourself. Long story short, he finally decided to try chiropractic locally. It took us 5 chiropractors to find one that actually did what I was describing. He ends up becoming very good friends, best friends with his chiropractor, and gave me his blessing to go to chiropractic school. As I'm graduating, I get a call from him one day and said, I'm so proud of you. You know, I've been getting such amazing results. I've been learning all about this. I'm going to go to chiropractic school. So literally at 55 years old, my dad, as he likes to jokingly say, decided to follow in his son's footsteps and go to Life West. He did that, of course, I'm fast forwarding the story, with my brother, who was playing professional basketball in Israel, who had to listen to all these family conversations. When my dad told my brother he was going to chiropractic school, my brother's response was, can I go with? So we all drove out here. They went to Life West. I started a practice. I was in practice for roughly 10 years. I was applying everything I learned. I was doing local live television, local live radio, writing for newspapers, magazines, getting out the message in every way I knew possible. And as I sort of jokingly say, a funny thing happened on the way to following my dreams. I was married at the time, and my wife at the time said, you know, I'll tell you what, I'll go back to work, and you know, you follow whatever your dream is next. I always wanted to write a book about this message. So I wrote a book called Discover Wellness, How Staying Healthy Can Make You Rich. She simultaneously, miraculously, whatever you want to call it, ended up becoming the first director of marketing at Facebook. And so through her experience and my passion, I've been able to, from a very early start, understand really the DNA, the understanding of, you know, the power and potential of what these social networks are all about, Facebook, Instagram, etc. And I've been doing everything possible to try to explain to our profession how powerful these tools really are if used correctly. And that's what we're going to talk about today. There's
Yes.
a ton of confusion about, oh, you know, I've got a company that runs Facebook ads for me. Isn't that what you're talking about? You know, no, it's not. So hopefully we'll clear a lot of that up. We're talking about how to use these tools to really build an audience of people that want to learn from you, want to advocate for you, want to share you with their social networks, so that you never have to market ever again. So that's my story. Jeff's got a fascinating one also about working at like the largest orthopedic. I'll let you share it, Jeff. It's a phenomenal story.
Yeah, my story is a little bit, I'm going to say, Jason's is so inspiring. I'll kind of give the short version, on mine. And it's a lot of school of hard knocks. So coming out of school and really finding out everything not to do, practicing as an associate and then as my own kind of clinic director and owner. And then I kind of had this fortunate, it wasn't for everybody, but for me, it kind of was this fortunate step to really see on the other side of what people were doing, be in a multidisciplinary group that was really building and growing fast. And at the time, they were spending about $5 million a month on advertising. So, I kind of transitioned into the marketing leadership role with them. And that opened my eyes to what could be done at scale. And my goal has been to pull back some of those tenets from what I've seen really the biggest players in the healthcare space doing and applying it to us and what we can do as chiropractors.
That's beautiful. And you guys will probably touch on this later, but I was thank you, by the way, for sending me the rough manuscript of your the book that's going to be released, I think, fall of 2021. But in there, I was just blown away when you stated the sheer numbers of people that are engaging online. It's staggering. And I think for us to not do what you guys are talking about is an act of ignorance. I mean, think about all the people out there we can help. And so, hey, let's dive right in. So just so you two know, and I shared a couple episodes with you, but over these last 8 episodes on this show, Catch Up with ChiroTouch, we've been focusing on the 4 domains of practice. And I know there's more domains. We haven't really talked about collections, but the 4 main ones we've talked about are attraction, conversion, retention, and team building. And in there, we've had amazing guests. So I've been blessed to have a front row seat for all these amazingly inspirational guys. It's been so good for me. But for this episode, we're going to stay laser focused on this attraction piece. And I think for you guys is just this idea of building this authentic tribe of followers that are into what we're doing and we're inspiring them. So let's just dive right into that. And I think our listeners are going to be taking a lot of notes. So if I hit a pause, it's because I'm taking notes. But in that book, you guys said something early on that tied into what we've been talking about. And so if you guys could elaborate on those, on what are the best sources of new patients in the chiropractic practice, that kind of opened my mind and reminded me again of these truths. So please share that.
All right. So the name of the book is called The Payday Practice: How to Cover Your Monthly Expenses in One Day, Guaranteed. So it is truly a game-changing way of looking at and thinking about your practice from what I'll call a reactive care way. Most of us know, hey, nobody calls up your practice saying, can you correct my subluxations for maximum health benefit? But most chiropractors believe that, people only come in reacting to care. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we go ahead and we put messages out that attract that motivated group of people that have a symptom to come on in. And according to the math I've done, that's roughly 1% of the population. There's roughly 1% of the population that is actively right now, today, going to a search engine, typing in chiropractor, their town, looking for a chiropractor. And so my question becomes, wait a minute, I've sat through hundreds of seminars. I've broken bread and had meals with the profession's best minds. I've been around the block for decades now. And somehow when we talk amongst ourselves, we got this whole conversation going on about how you should use chiropractic care proactively to enhance your health and reactively if you've got a symptom. But nowhere do I see that type of messaging going out into the public. So how's the public ever going to know that we're good for those things if we never put that message out there? So what we include in the book is sort of a reframing of what I'll call Jeff and I's experience. As we've been going out now for, I think it's about 5 years, sharing this message, longer on our own, but together 5 years. The number one response we get from almost every chiropractor and chiropractic leader or group manager, management company, and so on, all of a sudden immediately goes, okay, but is this going to get me new patients? Like there's no thought. It's almost the same hypocrisy as, you doing your lay lecture, you're trying to explain to people the nerve system, the innate healing ability we have, etc. And they go, yeah, but will my neck pain go away? So you kind of go, okay, well, let's just pause for a moment. We have to reframe this conversation. And so the way we're reframing it is that we think most of the profession has this bass backwards. It's just not thinking smart or intelligently about it. We focus collectively. I know there's exceptions. Collectively, most of people in our profession are addicted to needing new patients. And they're addicted because every time, we go, do you want to try this? They go, yeah, but I need new patients now. You go, okay, well, what are you doing? Well, we're doing advertisements to target people who have these particular symptoms and then offer a deep discount to come into our office. That's the way to get them in. But if you've been around for the Groupon days, just getting warm bodies in your door may not necessarily be the best long-term strategy for any of you. So what we had to do was we sort of came up with a new way of thinking about how this is. And it sounds something like this. Most chiropractors' next best new patient is actually keeping your current patients. Okay? As long as you're providing a service, let me give the disclaimer. As long as you're providing a service you authentically know has a positive health benefit for people and is not, nobody's saying overtreat, nobody's saying take advantage, nobody's saying extend care unnecessarily. But if you're like me and many other chiropractors that getting checked and adjusted if necessary proactively has a positive health benefit, then we understand that this is a lifestyle and for a lifetime. Now, it's up to people to choose what they want to do, but if you don't lay that out as an option, they're not going to necessarily intuitively know that's the right choice. So your next best new patient is keeping your current patient. Your second best next new patient is a friend or family member or referral of a current patient, client, member, whatever you want to refer to them as. The third next best new patient or client to come into your practice is someone following you online who's been watching you, listening to you, learning from you, seeing their friends or their social network engage with you. And all of that is because those are three ways or three categories that build trust. And the currency in today's world is not information. There's lots of information, disinformation, misinformation. Nobody knows how to hear it, filter it, determine what's true, what's not true, and make good decisions. We follow people we trust, and we assume they've done the due diligence to come to the conclusions they have. And that's really the paradigm shift from, hey, let's just make it super cheap for strangers who have no idea who you are to come on in for what they think you provide, which is typically pain relief covered by their insurance, so that then they can leave and get out of there, which is your fourth best new patient, maybe even fifth. Okay. So what we're trying to do is reframe the conversation about needing more new patients from, hey, let's just throw a bunch of deep discount ads to anybody who lives locally and has some sort of orthopedic symptom, into, why don't we share our truth? Why don't we do it consistently over time, authentically, with those people that already agree with us? And let's authentically earn our audience, like everybody does, of people that actually align with our philosophies, that agree with our perspectives, and that actually use our services in positive ways and have such remarkable both results and outcomes, but also shifts in their thinking, that they end up becoming the ones who share you with their social networks. And you're really using social media the way it's intended to be used, because people forget that it's social media. It's not advertising media. It's not sponsored media. It is social media. And so that's really the way it's designed and intended to be used at its best.
I think about the energy drain it is on a practice to have a bunch of people coming in because you offered such a low price. I mean, it's hard on the staff, it's hard on the doc, and it just taxes, and it's hard on the existing clients, I think, too. When you got a doctor spread thin trying to manage new patients that aren't going to accept his advice on day 2 or whatever they do the report. So
deep discount advertising is like sugar. It's going to get you a result over a short period of time, and then you're going to crash. So there's always a trade-off there. And there's a lot of practices that have suffered that crash. And sometimes that can be almost more difficult than the benefit given up front by that little boost. So
I love that. That's a good analogy, man. I love that. Okay. So we live in this, obviously, and you can share some numbers with me on this, guys. We live in this massive digital world. I mean, it is what it is. It's not going away. It's only going to get bigger. And, how important is it, what you already said, Jason, to regularly engage with them? And to go further with that, how does one start building a tribe of followers online? How do you go about that? How do you start?
I think it starts with the doctor understanding what this is. Okay. So we've actually built a program for our clients that helps doctors literally teach their patients, teach their community, teach their what we call health tribe, how to make social media healthy for you. And that's really understanding. That's the first understanding is from the doctor's viewpoint, is that this is not a sugar high. This is not, I'll pay someone else to run ads for me. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that's not the highest and best use. Sure, you can get an adjustment for a headache and stop. It's an option. It's not your highest and best use. So yes, you can run ads, get patients in. Yes. Not your highest and best use. That's not your full understanding. So it starts with the doctor understanding that, wait a minute, this is not just a drug that wears off temporarily and then you grow, immune to it and you've got to use more and more over time. This is something that is, one of the ways we say it is, this is the difference between hunting versus farming. If you're a hunter, you go out, you kill, you eat, and you start over again. If you're farming, you've got a strategy, you've got, land, you've got an idea, and there's a natural law to planting seeds, nurturing those seeds, and having them harvest over time. It's a sustainable supply of food versus an instant supply of food. And that's really what we're talking about here. Again, we're not saying do one, not the other. We're saying pay attention to which ones you're using and then build a portfolio of resources to hopefully focus on more sustainable supplies over time. So that's really the whole idea, is understanding, wait a minute, I should be building an audience. And one of the things we say, we know there's a lot of controversy, especially right now. Facebook's good, Facebook's bad. It's, there's all kinds of talk about the addiction of social media and so on. Here's the framework. If social media has the potential to be so damaging, so dangerous that it can shift elections, it can change the world, it can get all these negative and bad things to happen, it's that powerful. My question is, doesn't that mean that it's equally potentially powerful to do the same or better for good, right? If it's got the ability to communicate with basically billions of people around the world, isn't the issue what we're consuming, not that we're consuming it? Media is not new. People have been addicted to television, their telephones, all the media of the past. What's new is the speed and the scale that you can now, and this is a good thing as much as could be a negative thing. And that's really where it starts, is understanding. If I said to you, Ron, I said, listen, hey man, I'm going to grant your wishes. Like BJ Palmer in the very early days, who invested resources in radio stations and television stations so that he can build an audience of people that listen to his message. I'm going to now grant you your wish, and I'm going to give you access to your own television studio that you have 100% access to 24/7, 365 for free. I'm also going to give you a radio station where you can say whatever you want to anybody you can get to listen around the world for free. I'm also going to give you a printing press so you can type and write whatever you want to get anybody you can get to read it around the world for free. What would you say to me?
Let's
Thank
go.
you. That's a miracle. Now I've got the tools and resources, and I don't have the excuses as to why I can't get my message out to the masses. So it starts with that mindset that this isn't just some asterisk advertising option, but all I really want to do is adjust. We believe that doctor means teacher, and a teacher teaches. And being a chiropractor really is about teaching first, being a mechanic or adjuster second. That if you will build a big enough audience of people that trust you, are inspired by you, and therefore want to learn from you on an ongoing basis, you will build an audience of people that become your advocates and ambassadors. That's really how this is all designed to work. The tactics are simple and easy once you get the mindset straight and get it right.
Wow, that's great. And maybe Jeff, elaborate on some of those tactics.
Really it's about teaching and inviting consistently. So we think every opportunity that somebody's taking to shoot a video, to write something online, whatever it might be, to put out a piece of content, that's your opportunity to teach your audience something about themselves, right? How can you get people to engage? How can you entertain? How can you educate? So the more that you can teach, every time you do that, it gives you an opportunity to invite. And now if you're listening to marketing in the past, you might have heard the word call to action. And that's what we call your call to action, is your invitation. You can invite them to take the next step. And then the last word there is critical, and that's consistently. If you do that once a year, it's going to be tough to hit a home run if you only swing the bat, once a month. So you want to get out there and get those reps in. And I think the best way to do that is, we always think about things with the Smart Chiropractor through a framework of monthly campaigns, weekly topics, and daily posts. And the short version of that is identifying those areas of who's your ideal person, who would you love to have in your practice, what are the challenges they're dealing with, and then proactively teaching them something about how they can overcome that challenge. So that's really a simple framework to start thinking about, how can I produce content? What do I talk about? Well, heck, who's that person you'd love to have in your practice? What are they dealing with that you could help them get over the hump with? That's a great place to start teaching, and that gives you the opportunity to invite them. And if you do that consistently, you'll find your way to success.
And I'm assuming that this strategy is a synergistic kind of blend of email campaigns, Facebook groups, having an Instagram page with the practice. Is that kind of what you guys are talking about? And then maybe even podcasts. And there's so many places you can go with that, right? But is that stuff you guys work with people on? It's helping them kind of establish that rhythm and that consistency?
You're digging in perfectly, Ron. That's exactly it. There's not a one size fits all for everyone solution, but your concept is exactly right on. It's
Okay.
what are the resources that you have access to and interest in?
Yeah.
Some people do navigate more towards longer format podcasts. Other people are great writers. Other people are really good on video and just like to get on and share.
Yeah.
So, what we really provide with the Smart Chiropractor is the framework and the structure to be able to, as Jeff said, really build almost what you think of yourself as an educational institution first and a service provider second. So, monthly campaigns means that instead of, when I was in practice, every day was Chiropractic Education Day.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, after 10 years, part of my inspiration for retiring was I was bored saying the same thing every day for a decade. Sounds like it might be a subluxation coming from your spine, putting interference on your nerves. That's what we're going to keep on working. Same words, same thing every day over and over again. I wish I could have joined the Smart Chiropractor and really gotten what we think of as sort of the hybrid approach. Like one of the things Jeff comes up with is brilliant. He says, we do the things for you that you should be doing but aren't getting to. And oftentimes it's understandable. There's very few chiropractors that are researchers, writers, editors, copywriters, graphic designers, content managers, social media experts, email experts, in-office video streaming experts. In fact, I don't know anybody who can knock off any chiropractor that can knock all those things off. It takes a team.
Yeah.
All these companies, even these individuals that have these massive followings, they don't do it by themselves. They don't randomly pick up their phone and go, wait, I haven't done this for a week. Maybe I should put a bunch of them out and randomly put things out. There is a strategy. In fact, a yearly campaign with monthly topics. Here's what we're talking about this month. Each week, there's a strategized version of what that month's campaign is all about. And each day, there's a protocol. You actually think about what we do for communications as what your chiropractic technique would be about. Nobody would suggest you just go up to the body and randomly do things.
Right.
Usually you got a system, you got a protocol, you got structure too. What am I trying to accomplish? Doing it, knowing if I accomplished it, and then being consistent with that type of structure. That's really what we provide. A lot of our clients just go, just handle it for me. Thank you. Do what you do. Thank you very much. I'll never do it myself. And those benefits are amazing because they are really automatic and automated. Yep. And then there's others who, really, admire the Joe Mercolas, Josh Axes, and other, health influencers, almost celebrities at this point. And they become sort of celebrities in their own communities by following a similar formula. Those guys all have massive teams. I know that. Right. And so we become sort of your outsourced team to handle, the structure and the day-to-day stuff, make you look great. Almost like a rock star who kind of just gets to get out on stage, be the front man or woman, and we'll handle, the crowd, we'll handle the stage, we'll handle, writing all the music. So you just get to go out and be the rock star that you are.
I wish. No. Yeah, it sounds like, basically you guys are the publicists to the chiropractor. So that ties into my next question. Dr. Bo and I, you guys know Dr. Bo Pierce, great guy. And we kind of had a little bit of a rabbit trail talking about the frustration that a lot of docs we meet, and I know you guys meet them too, that they're feeling this big gap between what they really want to do and know that they need to do, but then they have this other little voice that says, oh, you can't afford that right now. So how, and again, a lot of what you're talking about, it takes not so much money, rather it takes more time and focused energy, but kind of encourage the doctors on the call and think about who's on this podcast right now. It's going to be a variety of practitioners, but kind of think that through as you answer that of what advice can you give them as far as overcoming that mental hurdle of bridging that gap between what they want to do and what they can afford to do.
number one, I'd say that's fantastic that you're speaking with Dr. Bo. He's great. We love strategizing with him and talking shop on exactly these types of topics. So that's absolutely fantastic. And what comes to mind for me when you mention that is, we have an internal saying that we use within our team, but I think it applies to this, and that's results follow actions. So what action step are you taking today to get the result you desire the day after, next month, next year, right? And you don't have to do everything in a day, but take that one action step. What's that one action step that you can take today? Then what's that one step you can take tomorrow? Because I'll guarantee you that if you continue to take positive action steps to build and grow your practice, you will get the results that you desire. And I think sometimes the challenge is the overwhelm of thinking you need to take 100 action steps yesterday as opposed to taking the one today. So what I'd say of a word of encouragement to all the docs out there is, just focus in and take away those distractions. Take 2 to 3 minutes for yourself tonight and think about what's that one thing you can do tomorrow to move your practice forward. If you start to make that a habit, you're going to find yourself getting those results you desire before you know it. Jason?
I'm going to push a little bit harder on this one. This comes down to what's your goal? What's your objective? The reality is this is hard work. There is a lot to it. Jeff is 100% right. If you're a do-it-yourselfer and, you just, for whatever reason want to do it yourself, which I don't even do it all myself. Jeff doesn't do it all himself. If you're crazy like that, that's the way to go. Take one step at a time. If you were looking to succeed, if you were looking to win, if you were looking to, express your best, I almost think of it like, a bodybuilder, right? Even experienced athletes have a coach, have a team, have the people they need in order to support their success. And that's just an essential. Nobody does this by themselves. This is hard work. So if you were trying to get in shape to, even compete in a contest, let alone win a contest, you would likely hire people to be there to handle those issues. The biggest issue is, as I sort of said in the very opening of all of this, is that most chiropractors don't understand what this even is. So if you think of this as just some advertising thing that I hate social media, I hate Facebook, what a waste of my time, I don't like getting on it. You got all this negativity, like so many people do about what you do, because they don't understand what it is, then you're going to go down one pathway and probably not be very successful. Once people understand the big idea of what, getting adjusted, seeing a chiropractor, being aligned, understanding our innate potential to heal ourselves, remembering the concept that health is a matter of optimal function, not just a lack of symptoms, that your practice is about expressing itself and reaching as many people as possible, not just getting by and paying the mortgage, again, few this month. Once you restructure your goals and understanding, then you realize, wait, this is a different game. How do I build a team of people that can consistently get these actions Jeff's talking about? Consistency is the name of the game. You can do it perfectly once and you don't win. Right. So it is in the follow through and the consistency. One adjustment can be life-changing, but it's in the consistency over time that you really get your long-term benefits and results, momentum. And so once again, that's really who we are. We happen to work beautifully with Bo. Bo happens to be great at the content side himself, which most chiropractors are not. He focuses very much on sort of the technical search engine optimization, website stuff, brilliant stuff, top of his game, great work there. But that's where we really go parallel. Because he is such a pro at creating his own content, he doesn't rely on us to the same degree that most chiropractors have to. And the same thing is true otherwise. We have so much great content out there that actually provides a lot of search engine optimization organically. So it's really a perfect fit. It would be like somebody saying, oh, I don't need a chiropractor because I have a personal trainer. What are you talking about? That makes no sense. Or I have a massage therapist. When you understand what needs to be done, you have a better understanding as to who you need to hire to get those jobs done on a consistent basis. And there is a difference between an expense and an investment.
Yes.
And these are investments in that you're actually putting in a little money to make a lot, which is the smart move every day of the week. An expense is something you pay money, you don't get as much value from what you spent. And that's really, I think, the big difference in mind shift.
No, and I think it's so beautiful how you guys put that, because it really kind of mimics the chiropractic wellness lifestyle of what we're expecting from our clients. Consistency of doing the home exercises and eating the right way and working on mindfulness and routines and all the different things that go into the chiropractic lifestyle. And so as chiropractors, we're constantly preaching that with our clients. So this is very congruent with that. And I think the doctors on the call today are going to be very blessed by this. So let's go to this next level. I've built my health tribe. I'm regularly in front of them now, weekly, daily, monthly, with research, with certain themes. And I'm just out in front of them and I'm building that trust. They're starting to really like me and trust me. How do I then begin to, and this is beyond the new patients I get from that live local to me, but how do I begin to monetize that? And how do I really take that to the next level? Because I know you don't want to do that right away. It takes a while to build that tribe. So
the three key words are monthly recurring revenue. And Jason, I'd love it if you gave the explanation there.
Yeah, sure. We are, as I said in the beginning with the book and with our done for you, automated communication services, what you're asking is sort of what comes from all that. Okay, I got all these people, now what? And so what we're building is the answer to that, which is, again, starts with an understanding, follows with the tools and the tactics. The understanding is, if we start putting this all together, if your next best new patient is keeping your current patients, my question then becomes, what do you have in place from a business structure that encourages and incentivizes those people to stay with you on some sort of consistent, regular basis? We refer to that as a proactive membership in your practice. We teach that, we give the tools for that, but the idea would be, if you've got thousands of people following you online, at least hundreds of them will be local. And are you able to promote a program, a specific program for those people that understand what you're talking about and want to be proactive with their care? So there's really, what we think of at this moment, three models to build recurring revenue. Again, the subheadline of the book is how to generate your monthly expenses in one day, guaranteed. So what that means is, Ron, I'll just sort of ask you, right? You've been in practice for a period of time. The first day of every month is symbolic to every business owner or practice owner because it represents what?
Oh, it's a fresh new month, fresh start.
Okay. And even if you just broke your best financial record, your best patient number record ever, symbolically, the first of the month is our way of saying exactly that. Back to zero. All right. And for many chiropractors, it's, oh man, we just climbed the peak of the mountain and now we're back at the bottom again. This is crazy. Here we go again. And so what we're suggesting, sort of starting with the end in mind, is what if you were able to turn the first of the month from, oh my God, back to zero again into payday? So we're teaching the concept that every doctor has what we refer to as an MVMI, a minimum viable monthly income. If I ask you the question, how much money do you have to earn to not feel financially stressed? You could come up with a calculation of what that number is. If I were to say, I'll write you a check on the first day of every month so that you never have to financially stress about business again, there's a number. And whatever your number is, different for everybody, whatever your number is, what we're teaching is that the benefit of building this audience is so that you can generate your minimum viable monthly income, monthly recurring revenue, so that every first day of the month becomes payday, that you literally set up your business model so that the first of the month gets you all of the revenue necessary to cover your monthly expenses. Well, that changes the entire equation of practice if from the second to the 28th, 30th, or 31st of every month, you got your bills paid. You can have a lot more fun, be a lot more creative, be a lot more generous, dare I say, be a lot more honest, because you can afford to tell the truth about who you want to see, what you recommend they do, and you can afford for them to say, sorry, I'm not interested, and let them walk away. That will actually dramatically change the way all of us practice when more people can actually afford to tell the truth. This is how you do it. So one is by building a proactive membership program. So for all of those that aren't in pain at this moment, who have a obvious motivation to be here, teaching them about proactive care and having a business model that makes sense. We've developed something unique and different than just about anybody else out there that solves that problem. But that's only one of three options. The second option is, you mentioned this earlier, is that you've got this whole audience of people following you, and many people recommend lifestyle recommendations. And the most common lifestyle recommendation is something around nutrition. Okay, so we've developed a very limited and specific line of nutritional products that are what we refer to as everybody, everyday nutrition. These are not therapeutic. Oh, you've got this problem, take this supplement. These are things most everybody should be taking most every day for the rest of their lives. So the thought process is, I've got thousands of people following me. Maybe it starts at zero, it goes to tens and goes to hundreds, goes to thousands, eventually millions, like some people we know. Then offering them your favorite things that they can purchase from you online, automatic, automated, and drop shipped, hassle-free, without customer service, without shipping, without the doctor having to deal with any of that, is the next best way to sort of automate your revenue. And the third one is, I know a lot of doctors are using, various fitness, motion, movement, rehab apps. There are literally multi-billion-dollar companies offering digital physical therapy to corporations around the world. And all they're doing is some version of this with some exercise recommendations and access to their doctors. Multi-billion-dollar companies, several of them, doing exactly that. We say to ourselves, well, how are chiropractors not offering these types of digital access, digital services, digital recommendations, exercises, the ability to answer and ask questions? Why are we not offering what it is that people are using, whether it's Apple Fitness or all the other different types of apps out there? So we're in development of an app chiropractors can use to be able to build their audience and generate that monthly recurring revenue by providing monthly recurring services. And so whether you just want to stay focused, I'm a chiropractor, all I want to do is adjust, no problem. Then build a proactive membership in your program following our recommendations. Or if you, like you mentioned, you're more lifestyle oriented, then get people not on a supplement, but on drop ship, subscribe and save monthly subscriptions to your supplements that don't end. There's never a time we're not going to take some sort of multivitamin, green drink, or something that does provide us the nourishment we all require every day. That should come from your chiropractor, not Costco, Target, Amazon, or somewhere where they just look for the cheapest option, which is very likely not what you would recommend as professional grade. So that's what you do when you've got thousands of people following you, is you teach and invite them. You teach them about the lifestyle things, whether they're adjustments on a regular, consistent basis proactively, whether it's about the nutrition that everybody should have every day, whether it's about motion and movement and things you can do in your life and lifestyle using these apps. And then you invite them to participate in one of those offerings so that you build your automatic monthly minimum viable monthly income, and you can pay your bills on a monthly basis automatically. There's a few more details, but that's how it all fits together.
What you're saying, you guys, is so important for chiropractic right now. We do need to create a tipping point, and what you're talking about, to me, is probably the most effective way to do it. This whole comprehensive strategy, what Bo kind of referred to as the well-rounded marketing machine, because there's docs on the call, myself included, where when I do a dinner event, I know I'm going to crush it. But if I parallel that with a regular web presence in a digital health tribe, man, and the next thing you know, you're doing virtual workshops, and there's just so much potential there. And I think one thing Bo said last week for these growing young chiropractors that are struggling financially And this is a principle I do with my associates, and I know you both do this as well, is where, gosh, if you have 20 patients today, cluster book them. See them in 2 to 3 hours. Now you got 5 hours to produce content. Now you got 5 hours to personalize your smart chiropractor relationship. And there's just, I think docs are, that's why the whole theme of this show has been business and practice management. Because if we could learn to manage our practices better and learn to do what you talked about, take the pressure off financially, chiropractic is meant to be fun. Being a chiropractor is fun. And so many guys are burning out because they're financially strapped, they're disorganized, they can't afford a coach. Well, they need a coach, but they can't afford it. They can't afford to do your program, but they need to do it, because they're stuck in this rut. And so I'm hoping that that's the nature of our listeners. I want to thank you guys so much. I know we kind of ran out of time here. We could do a whole nother workshop. I definitely want to have you guys back on. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your love for chiropractic. And I just think, man, our profession is a much better place with you two in it. And hopefully I'll see you guys at one of these upcoming events in Park City. Maybe we'll see each other. But for chiropractors, right now is our time, you guys. The world needs us to be at our best now more than ever. And so with that, I want to again thank ChiroTouch for their spirit in this. I think it's a wonderful idea, and I'm honored to host this. And I just think it's great that ChiroTouch is thinking this way, that they just want to love and protect and support this amazing profession called chiropractic. And you guys have been great. I'm so glad we had you on. And for those of you out there, I want to applaud you and congratulate you for taking time on personal development. This will be the best hour you spent this week, and I want to applaud you for that. And please look for our upcoming episodes. We're going to really keep diving into this stuff. And most importantly, make sure you take care of yourself. A lot of chiropractors don't take care of themselves. So make sure you're getting adjusted, that you're getting to the gym, and that you're spending time on your health, because again, the world needs you at your best right now. And so again, this is Dr. Ronnie. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Catch Up with ChiroTouch. Until next time, be strong. We love you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.